This is week 5, and we are recording this to the cloud. It is R678 in the spring of 2024. Again, week 5 already. Next week, we get into online language learning or using ChatGPT to teach languages. So next week's very important because it's my research we're going to cover next week with Bill Lee and others. So we have only 6 articles next week in week 666, the sign of the devil. We have language learning with AI. This week, though, we've got augmented reality seems to be pervasive in many articles. And we have 2 special issues this week. One that's seems to be a little more consumer and business related. The other one maybe more K-12 and higher ed related. You can pick your poison, pick your area of interest, and there are a lot of great articles in the week. They're coming ahead for all of you. I looked at all of them just now and was breezing through which ones are the most important. And Bo did select one to read this afternoon. And in 30 seconds or less, Bo, which article was it that you read, and why should they read it?
The title of the article was, let's see. What lies behind the filter? Uncovering motivations for using AR face filters on social media and their effect on well-being. I think this article was probably necessary for anyone to read that has any type of social media presence. But at the same time, if you have kids as well, it would be something worth your while to kind of explore a little bit to determine the impact that that utilizing these facial filters actually has on their self-concept.
Good deal. And Amelia has got 30 seconds to mention a VR, AR tool that she's used or is familiar with. Amelia.
Oh, I wanted to mention, is this the playlist that I dropped in the discussion this week, where they have 360 videos. And even if you're watching them on your laptop, you can use your WASD keys to move around and give your students what it would be like in a 360 virtual reality.
Great. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Bo. I've been going back and forth in my head on which way to start. I've got like 80 slides on virtual reality, augmented reality, and gaming and simulations that I'm just going to whiz through in a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to show you about 25 different AR and VR sites. I thought about showing a few to start, then the slides, then a few to end. I decided not to do the few to start. I decided just to plop in and show you the slides to begin with, and we'll see if that works. It's just a cursory overview of history, kind of historical look at AR and VR over time and so forth. Let's see if I can actually find them. But if we can't, we'll. And we're going to optimize video, optimize sound for later. And you see that right, Bo?
You're good.
Okay, great. Again, this is week 5, R678. Simulations, gaming, and augmented reality. Well, the first thing I should mention is I have 3 articles related to gaming. The first one was with Vanessa Denon on massive multiplayer online gaming. In particular, the military was looking at that and wanted to know where to go. It was the most cited article for a long time and the #1 hit for MMOG research for a long time. That article's still out there. It's available through the Department of Defense, U.S. Department of Defense. And maybe Bo can find it somehow and put it in a link in the chat window for us. The second article, a couple of years ago, Maina Ju and my former student Yun Joanne and Lin at University of North Texas, we all looked at gaming or gamification of MOOCs, massive open online courses. The third article is this article. We had published a piece in Tech Trends. I call it my one-day paper, Finding a Special Place with Yun Joanne and Dr. Bonk, designing digital game-based learning elements in tech trends. Yun Jo was looking to finish this paper, and she was having difficulty doing so. She was a former student of mine and became department chair at North Texas. In between, she was working on this paper, and I call it my one-day paper because in one day we changed and made the acronym Special Place, and that paper got accepted. And I'm real happy with one-day papers. It doesn't happen often. In fact, I don't think it's ever happened again. But she had most of it done. So the first, Special Place. S is the first word. So in gaming, you see a lot of scaffolding, whether it's from cheat sheets, job aids, that kind of thing, hints, or hints from if you play social games, from your peer group. You notice that games rely on problem-driven activities. The gaming participants have to solve something typically, or get through something. There's a challenge that's put in front of them they have to overcome. There's often an exploration component, and that's very important in today's world, where I want to say, maybe 25% of learning is exploratory kinds of learning, adventurous kinds of learning. And gaming's helping set the stage to get the competencies and skills and strategies that you're going to need to survive in this age of self-directed learning, which is my research area. The fourth is games will often have a context of some kind. You're given a scenario, a story, or a suite of stories, and you're embedded within that context. And there's often interaction components with the gaming mechanisms themselves, the modifications within those games too, and with other people. And of course, there are the challenges that make each interaction more and more difficult to overcome. Then there's agency, personal agency, taking control or ownership over your decision making, over where you are in the game, what you've solved, what you haven't solved yet, what lies ahead, and what your decisions are to be able to move to that next level, leveling up within those gaming worlds. Now, I'm not a gamer, but many of you probably are and probably have the language of gaming down pat. Someone's got their audio, might want to mute it because I'm getting a little vibration here. Learning by doing, by trying it out, learning through failure. So special, S-P-A-E, let's go back to it, S-P-E-C-I-A-L, special. The L is learning by doing, learning by trying it out. And because it's a game, if you die, you just get a new life, you just start back over. You haven't hurt anybody physically, typically, through this. So there's a lot of opportunities to make decisions that could cause serious consequences in the real world, in the physical world, but in the online digital one, maybe not so much. Then the place, pausing to reflect, pausing to think about where you're going to go next and what challenges you're going to encounter next, pausing to reflect on battles you've won or successes that you've had along the way. The ability to pause your game, to stop it and move and have pizza and have dinner and come back. The ability, again, learning through failure. So the P is pause. The L is learning through failure, learning through trial and error. Failure happens. When failure happens, you hopefully have a growth mindset, as Carol Dweck says, and build upon that failure and move forward. The A in place is adaptability or challenges, the adaptability for you within playing that game, but the adaptability of the game console itself, so that if you've mastered level 1, it moves you up to a much more difficult kind of challenge that you would face the next time you want to play that game or simulation or virtual world of some kind. So it adapts to the learner profile, the learner successes and failures. And more so that will happen in the future because of AI, be able to more quickly adapt to the decisions that the user's making and the failures within those decisions. Then the C in place is characters. You're often role-playing somebody or something and taking on a persona that you normally wouldn't take on in the real world, unless you're Bo and he takes on multiple personas in the real world. I'm sure. Hey, Bo, have you ever played a game where you take on a persona, strange kind of persona, like in medieval times or Vikings or something like that?
We used to do murder mystery nights, actually, and we would have to get into characters for those. So not quite the same as this, but definitely you got very involved with the character itself.
Right. And who's the we?
When I taught in England, I lived in a building that had 55 teachers in it. And so we would have the same vacations, and we would generally do those around, like a spring break time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Is that where you met your wife?
that is, yeah. Yeah, we live
Ah,
in the same building there.
playing games.
Yep.
Finally the E, engagement. And that's what we all strive for. And I think since that article came out in 2009, we are starting to understand what engagement is and how to measure it, whether it's cognitive, behavioral, or social engagement. And there are new frameworks and schemes for understanding what engagement is and how we can design for it. But still, it's a fuzzy kind of concept. So that's an article I didn't put in, but if in your packets or readings. But if anyone wants to read the whole article or the other two articles I mentioned, just shoot me an email, and I'm happy to send that to you. Over the past quarter century, we've seen a number of games populate, and my son, among others, when he was growing up in high school and middle school, he played Sim Tower, which I did research on 25 or so years ago. Sim Tower, Sim Ant, Sim City, that was created by a person named Will Wright. If you look up Will Wright, he's the mastermind behind this. And Will Wright grew up in Montessori schools, just like the Google guys. The guys who built Google also grew up in Montessori schools. There's something to said about Montessori schools in terms of fostering a sense of independence, a sense of adventure and entrepreneurship, anyhow. But simulation games, not just for my son and his middle school and high school friends back in the day, it's also used quite effectively in military settings. And that's why I said I did a paper for the U.S. Department of Ed and for the Army Research Institute on massive multiplayer online games and where the research needs to go in it, because a lot of the young people today, when they're in the military, they're learning through games. They're learning through those kind of settings. That's Will Wright there, the inventor of Sim City, the inventor of Sim Ant, Sim Tower, and other kinds of sim-related games and activities, or virtual worlds. There's another virtual world that you may have heard of about 15 years ago called Second Life. And we would engage people in their alternative personas in a Second Life. This is a massive multiplayer online game, what's called a MMOG. And you often hear about World of Warcraft. I actually had slides on World of Warcraft and the theory behind using it and so forth. I deleted that late last night and decided we didn't need to go through that. Second Life you can take on, and this still exists, I think, but it kind of tapered off in terms of people playing or engaging in Second Life, but there are other tools. So Saturday, Merve Bastigan, my former TA, and I recorded a 15 or 20-minute session on a virtual world like Second Life that she's using, and there's a free version and a paid version. I put that in your Canvas, Kaltura media files if you want to watch it. I'll try and bring it up here. I didn't load it. I loaded 25 other ones. Sorry, Merve. But in Second Life, here you got a hot tub chat with a book author, but you could have a courtroom drama. You could have training of English teachers. You could have a medical operation, teaching nurses and so forth, trying to do that in an artificial world with semi-high fidelity so people are learning some skills while not endangering people's lives at the same time. Here at the courtroom drama, actually, this is a father and daughter in real life at Harvard who reenacted some of their case law dramas in a courtroom setting in Second Life. And that's kind of cool. Here's teacher training at Georgia Tech, I believe it was. These are relatively old, and we've got here, patient care, nurses and paramedics and so forth. Here we've got heart murmur detection and heart murmur sim in effect. And most of these have links, by the way. If you download the slides, my slides are all in Dropbox. Here we've got Obama talking to different people about what he needs to do with this difficult situation he was facing at the time in Cuba and who he's going to interact with to solve the problem back. Well, Cuba's not been totally solved, but back when there's more tense times. And it's kind of an interesting one. Here's something called PHET. I think it stands for something educational technology, physics educational technology. So initially this was in physics, biology, chemistry, all the science areas. They would have simulations to show sound and wave patterns and heat and thermodynamics and electricity and magnets and so forth. These sims, these little simulated worlds, or micro worlds they call them, are all free, and they're available from the University of Colorado. If you've downloaded my Adding Tech Variety book, I have an example of how to use these interactivities or simulations. Another place that in history you might have heard about is Farmville. Farmville is where people help each other grow plants and crops. Instead of shooting people, people are learning different skills through helpfulness. There's also Frontierville and Cityville, little communities where we interact with other people, not like Grand Theft Auto or World of Warcraft or other kind of more vicious kinds of worlds. These had millions of users each month, actually, in these worlds. This is a tool called Foldit, which is a tool that simulates proteins unfolding. And scientists can watch that and solve important, pressing scientific and medical issues and problems, such as Alzheimer's. So this is proteins unfolding over time, developed at Stanford, maybe Stanford Research Institute, where our guest at 7 o'clock is the last worked at. Dr. Robert Cosma was at Stanford Research Institute. Before that at Michigan, University of Michigan, before that Wayne State. Here we're going to have some augmented reality, whether it's driving or shopping or entering a restaurant. We'll see a couple different examples, or ordering different types of food. Here we've got they have an AR app from a Korean company that allows the consumer to scan a product and see a series of product reviews instantly laid over the top. So you can, if you're not sure you're going to buy that candy bar, you put your little mobile phone over the top, and up pops up different reviews and ratings of that product. So that's kind of neat. That makes shopping more interactive. And there is an article in the first special issue on that, on consumer behaviors. We've got augmented reality glasses to look at muscular skeletal systems and so forth, or to look at art and see different information on that art pop up at you, so you can read information about the artist potentially, or the genre of art, or something else. And you actually have augmented reality glasses so that you can see people coming to the left, coming to the right of you as you drive, so that you don't hit them. That would be a bad thing. I'm not sure if I want to wear these glasses. I think it would be distractive. Here we've got people who are engaged in a professional sports activity. They can see virtual reality through their cameras, through their headsets at a basketball game. And so if you even are sitting way back in the bleachers, way above, you actually can still feel like you're down on the front row within the game setting. Yeah. We've got students who are trained on the right hand. The woman's wearing the glasses and it's supposed to spur empathy for what it's like to be a 74-year-old woman who's got a disability of some kind. On the left-hand side, it's more diversity training. The VR diversity demo places the user in a body of an African-American woman as a white male avatar gets aggressive a few feet away. Or they have another scenario, subjects are made to feel what it's like to be homeless, as in a scene where the user is transported into the body of a woman riding a bus with few possessions. So, empathy training is very important, getting social cognitive skills of learners. This picture I always like is about a decade ago, 8 years ago, a doctor used Google Cardboard to better understand how to save a baby's life, and was successful in it, just with a simple tool like that. We also have virtual field trips, which I'll show you in Google Cardboard and other kinds of things. Pokemon, you guys mentioned last week. Some of you were playing something I was showing on the screen, reminded you of Pokemon, or was a image from Pokemon. That was one of the first augmented reality kinds of games out there that hit the bandwagon, about 8 years ago as well. Here we've got a tour of a human body, and actually today before class started, I got some websites to show you from a company called Virtual Body. They sent me about 4 different things, so I want to flip through these real fast. I will show you this one on the team. I think this is a team down in New Zealand getting ready for America's Cup on their yacht, and it's pretty cool to watch what they're doing with the 3D glasses on and virtual reality glasses on. There's also a video I'm going to show on making baseball, which I'm sure Jeff likes up there in Boston, to make baseball more interactive for their fans so that they can see understand different pitches when they come out, and not have to listen to someone who explains it on the goggles, what type of pitch was it, and what speed was it, and how often does he throw it, and all sorts of things, to make the game more immersive for you. Here we've got a HoloLens. The HoloLens, is that a Microsoft product, Bo? I think it's a Microsoft.
Yeah, I think Microsoft built that one.
Yeah, and here we've got the doctor showing you where he's going to cut or where he will cut within the surgery, and trying with the HoloLens he can make more accurate incisions in the patient. And here's one where the doctor has to revive a kid who's got a medical emergency, is turning all red, and have to figure out what's happened within the case situation. And so you're learning through these case scenarios, and no longer just text. I remember when I first started as a professor, I wrote text-based cases on accounting ethics for Arthur Andersen. Arthur Andersen went out of business, so apparently they didn't work. But now, instead of text-based cases, we have these rich multimedia-based kind of cases and interactive kind of cases that we can replay. One of my friends named Clark Aldridge was a guest in this class 20 years ago, and he built a tool called Short Sims, which is basically a cheap way to create a simulation just through pictures and images and cut out, annotations and other things. It's not real rich media, but it's very effective nonetheless. And trying to make business decisions or leadership training or that kind of thing. I thought I had a picture of Clark in here. It's not, yeah, he was in there earlier. Oh, too bad. I'm going to show this one on Google Cardboard virtual field trips. I'm going to show this one on learning chemistry in a virtual world, which I didn't take high school chemistry because the high school teacher was awful and I didn't want to take him. I would have loved taking this chemistry class through virtual reality. Here we've got a reporter for the USA Today talking about augmented reality in restaurants, in different food products, and also in IKEA furniture, and thinking about how to rearrange your apartment if you've just moved here like Sung Hee did, so you can have that as well. We'll watch a couple of things there. Oh, here's a website called Virtually Inspired from Drexel University. My friend Susan Aldridge was the president of Drexel Online out in Philadelphia. She compiled a whole suite of VR, AR, and simulations and animations. She compiled the best of the best stuff in the interactive world from different colleges and universities around North America and maybe around the world, because it's got Macquarie University in Australia, so around the world. And I actually spoke there about 6-7 years ago and talked to her about this product and how much people are using it around the world. Nursing simulations, advanced holography. We've got in here, let's see, a virtual reef. Got in here Russia's Holo Study Mixed Reality Project, whatever that is. Online engineering lab. Here we've got a teacher who's got this headset on, augmented reality headset, and over the top of her students' heads, the numbers pop up for how many questions they got right or wrong on the different assignments that they've been given. So she can see what students, by looking above their heads, this is not in reality, this is in her headset, she can see which ones they got wrong, how many they got wrong, where students are having problems, so she can ameliorate the problems that are happening. They're floating above the heads. I think it's pretty cool. This is one of the most fantastic things I think In terms, not invasive, it's not intrusive. If they are having problems, you can talk to them. If they're not, you just let them keep going, and so forth. So, and maybe it's really cost effective, because if that same headset that she's wearing, or eye goggles, works for everyone, right? This one, unfortunately, Microsoft took down. It was archaeological digs and reenactments of ancient Rome and ancient Greece and ancient Egypt and other parts of the world. And it talked about how the researchers were understanding the different settings and rebuilding them, in effect, through different HoloLens and other technologies. And those videos are really cool, but they're not working. So maybe Bo can help me find where they went. Well, maybe they just took them down. This is from an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education in 2018, where they discuss how an art professor guides his students in a rural Kentucky classroom through an exhibit happening in Paris, allowing them not only to explore works of art, but also to virtually hold and examine the art objects close up. A biology class might virtually travel down DNA strands previously visible only in a microscope. So yeah, but it doesn't work for everything, as it says here. The conversations of ethics of using virtual reality, just because we have the ability to virtually transport a student to a war-torn country. Maybe we don't want to take them to a war-torn country. If they're a refugee from another country, it might bring back pretty sad memories and so forth. The woman in the front there is Penny Pan. Oh, a great name, Penny Pan. She's from Taiwan. I met her at the Taiwan Educational Tech Conference or something 6 years ago, and she was building the empathy starter to get kids virtually understanding what's situations that might cause friction between their peers, or bullying, or other kinds of problematic behaviors among K-12 students. And she was trying to use these technologies to help students resolve these situations when they arise without resorting to violence of some kind. So yeah. Here we've got, this was in eSchool News, AR, being used in K-12 schools. AR brings to life and allows students to experience distance learning, different parts of the world. With AR, students can walk through Stonehenge, tour the Egyptian pyramids, or take a field trip to the Louvre, explore the cavities of a human heart, all from their homes. Go to Mount Rushmore without having to drive all the way there, or explore the muscular system. So we'll watch the Egyptian one a little bit on that, since I was just there. This is a simulation that was built to understand, for healthcare providers to understand what Parkinson's disease patients might need, or others. So it's a kind of actually, my former student, Kira King, works for the company that built different simulations in healthcare setting. And as you respond to different questions, it branches you to a different question. So this is a branching system scenario based. And I brought Kira in once before. I'm not sure if I'll bring her in this semester to talk about these healthcare simulations, but if people are interested, I would. Her husband's a vice president of Disney. So I was just down in Orlando and going to Epcot and other kinds of things, thanks to them. Kira edited a book with me called Electronic Collaborators back in 1998. Her last name is King, so people call it the Bonking book, for what it's worth. Learning's more immersive. This week in XR, VR, and so forth, Tencent invests $50 million in new AR and VR. Tencent, the WeChat people, all the Chinese people use the WeChat. Now they're adding augmented reality to WeChat, I think. So this video, if you watch it, explains the metaverse, and also explains mixed reality. We'll watch the mixed reality. This article was on orientations, on recruitment, on ramping up new employees to get them ready to start working more quickly through the simulated world, to see what they're going to encounter when they do start their job. Onboarding, I think they call it in the corporate world. And here's another one, explains what Microsoft Metaverse is, and as well as Minecraft. I'll just skip that. 2 years ago, I had my friend Mikkel Fomneth he lives in the Norway. He's from Russia. He showed us augmented reality and virtual reality. In fact, some of you were there. There's Ed in the bottom. There's Christian, my former, a couple, well, there's Mikhail. Katie, a lot of people still around. Now they're working on their dissertations. Arizona State's big in using these augmented reality, virtual reality, because they've built some AI-based and just-in-time courses, adaptive learning courses. And students learn biology through these virtual reality labs and experiments. And they were able to increase student retention and completion and increase the grades. I think I showed that a couple weeks ago. It's just an article that was in Inside Higher Ed about the power of AR and VR. I just put the link in. You can watch it. Another article about metaversities and the problems universities face that were funded by Meta or by Microsoft to create these metaversities, and what happens when the funding goes away? That's always the question. You know, it might be great for a chemistry class or an anatomy class or astronomy class, but you know, what happens when we lose the funding and so forth? There's a chemistry lab in metaverse. Here's immersive solar system at New Mexico State, meetings in metaverse, anatomy and biology in metaverse. And here we've got, just before class, people at Visible Body sent me some of this, their slides, their VR worlds in effect, so you can, a simulation of a beating heart and to better understand the cavities within the heart. So yeah, so you can get all the links and download them. They have interactive flashcards that are common with kinesiology apps that they have in other lab settings. They have many three-dimensional views of the human body in their suite, but they have augmented reality. I'll show that as well. They have 3D and fully online labs. Like I said, interactive flashcards, pancreas, the nervous system, frog dissection, pig dissection. So it's not just human body. I guess it's other bodies as well. Skip this. They have courseware, entire courses in biology. If you're looking to buy a course, they have that too. There's the Minecraft statistics that Bo had up last week. And as you see, more and more people are using Minecraft and across ages, My friend Paul Kim at Stanford was interviewed about his work in these virtual world spaces and mobile learning and gaming. He's been a proponent of using games to learn science and math. So there's 3 different interviews. If you're Korean, you can watch 2 of them. They're in Korean. The third one is about his life as a student. It's in English, so you can watch that one. I highly, highly recommend it. He's now the Associate Dean at Stanford School of Education and the Chief Technology Officer. And he was teaching courses like MOOCs for them to 20,000 students. Paul and my son went around the world to train people how to ask questions using the Stanford Mobile Inquiry Learning Environment System. And he's a fascinating guy. So that's kind of my slides. So as I said, I wanted to save time to show you stuff. And since we've got a packed class today, I'm trying to do this rather quickly, but those slides are up there. That's a big overview to get you interested in maybe reading something from this week. Before I show some of these in action, does anyone have a question for me? Comment. Please. I need a drink of tea. Question, Esther?
I have a question. Not only question, but also
I got an answer. Song.
yeah,
Song's
but
with
also
us from
comment.
Korea. That's my
Oh,
Korea
wow.
Cup song. You see that? I got this
Looks
at Korea
nice.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Great.
What's your question?
It's not only question, but also I actually want you give us our teachers' suggestions, because now VR, AR, and XR are so popular, especially when Apple also had the VR headset.
Yeah.
Now we see a
Yeah.
lot of pictures.
So you want ideas for teaching? I
Yeah.
recommend that you go to Canvas for last week discussion. I've got you in. You're in the Canvas system. Jeff, I can add you to Canvas if I haven't already. You still have an IU email that's functional. It still works, even though you've graduated. If you're not in Canvas, Jeff, send me your email again there, and I'll put you in. Week 5, Christy put in a prompt to ChatGPT to ask about teacher activities. And there's some great ones. Then someone else did, and then someone else did, and I commented on it. There's a whole suite of them. If you go to the discussion, week 5, AI augmented, not the human to human. That one has some too, but there's a ton of good ones in that week. Somebody put asked it of Bard as well. That was pretty good. Bard did better than I expected. So we have a lot there to build upon. Are there guides? Are there books? In my Tech Variety book, I've got a number of activities for the use of virtual worlds and virtual reality. In the book that came out before that, Empowering Online Learning, I have some in there as well. And if you don't have Empowering Online Learning, it's called the R2D2 book. I can buy you it, Alicia, and give it to you at Starbucks next time I see you. So you just remind me. We'll get you.
Thank you, Dr. Bonk.
There you go. Thank you. See, that's the one.
Wow.
Did you buy that? Thank you, Jeff. Hey, I got a royalties, a cup of coffee on that one, or a quarter of a cup. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, and the Tech Variety, there's brother and sister books. So if that book is kind of nice because there's 4 components: reading, reflecting, displaying, and doing. It's kind of like much easier to grasp what you can do. The other book, the Tech Variety, is, I think, more powerful because it's more comprehensive because of 10 different motivational, but they're both, hopefully, they both stand the test of time. The technologies change, and still we can use the frameworks. Other questions?
The book is on sale right now on Amazon. It's 66% off.
Whoa! And what's this? How much is it?
$14.84.
Okay, that's 66%. They were charging an arm and a leg before, or just an arm. Okay, well, we'll get you. I'll look for that, and we'll take care of that. All right. So let me show you. So unless someone was going to jump in. By the way, Risa was the first one here, and he gets the award of all the free tea I have. And I can, oh, I'm sorry. You're not. Are you in Bloomington, Risa? You're in Bloomington. Yeah. Okay. I will get you a free cup of tea for being the first one here tonight, and maybe even a pack of Girl Scout cookies on top of it. So, okay. Yeah. Anyone's welcome to come to my class on Friday who lives in Bloomington at 1:15. I'm going to talk about, and we're going to do a mixed hybrid. So if you're online, you can come hybrid. Publishing. I'm going to talk about publishing and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, publishing and writing, how to write better. 115, room 2277, School of Ed. And if you come, Risa, I'll give you a box of Girl Scout cookies. I promise. Okay? And if you don't want them, I'll give you a box of chocolates. All right. Let's look at some of these here. And I've optimized video. I've optimized sound. And let's see if we can do, if this does it. It gets us into the world here. And I'm going to put my screen at the top, down at the bottom, like that. Okay, there's only one problem with this, is that I might just have to remove, I'm just gonna have to move this whole thing. I'm gonna have to hide the floating meeting controls. Okay, I'm hiding the floating meeting controls. And the first one, so PHET I mentioned to all of you. PHET is a bunch of simulations in physics and chemistry. As I said, quantum mechanics, light and sound, earth science, you name it, for different age levels. So this is free. This is all free. It's the University of Colorado. They've got another one for math if you teach math. But no, this is the science series. And we can go into earth science and see what they have there for us, and teaching about Kepler's laws and the solar system, greenhouse gases, density, waves, gases, and also these, what we used to call the old days when I was a grad student, micro worlds. These are constructivistic little worlds that we can explore the solar system and have lesson plans wrapped around it so we understand orbits and gravitational force or something else. So here's the lesson plan. Here are the things we want to explore, the motions of the planetary bodies. We want to be able to describe it. We want to be able to predict what's happening. We want to predict the distance between bodies, all these various things. Is there sound and so forth. So that's just, that's just one little micro world. And then they have teaching tips and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool website. Let's look at chemistry here real quick. Again, I know nothing about chemistry, but if we want to learn a little bit about energy and the changes thereof, Dr. Cosma wants to get a link to today's session. You think I should send him a link to? I thought I invited him in, but okay, I better get back in and hang on a second, everybody. So come on, Dr. Cosma. Okay. This is kind of funky where I can get an email message from somebody right there and I can send it right to him. There he goes. So he should be here shortly. Okay. So here we've got energy forms and changes. We've got conservation of energy, energy systems, energy transfer, heat conduction, energy conversion, and so forth. So wow, that's all free stuff. There's more. There's more. There's always more. Risa teaches physics, so of course we got to understand a little about physics and so forth, right? I think we're in here already. Okay. So Microsoft HoloLens. Here we are in Microsoft HoloLens.
New ways to collaborate and explore the places we've never been.
Look at this formation. Let's take a closer look.
And new ways to create the things we imagine. Because when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see.
All right, now we're cooking here tonight. Now I've got to get rid of this thing again that's in front of me. Hide the floating media controls. Okay, there it goes. And you can see this, right, Bo? Bo.
Yes, we're good.
You can hear it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
What if we could go beyond the screen? Where your digital world is blended with your real world. Now we can. This is the world with holograms. What will they enable us to do? New ways to visualize our work.
I have an idea for the fuel tank.
New ways to share ideas with each other.
How are things going your end?
I just put the images in OneDrive.
Perfect.
More immersive ways to play. New ways to teach and learn.
So put the new trap in the place of the old one.
Now what?
And tighten here and here.
That's pretty cool.
New ways to collaborate and explore the places we've never been.
I'm going to
Look at
Mars.
this formation.
All right. Wow. That's funky donkey. Okay.
That looks like some Tony Stark stuff off of Iron Man.
It does. It does. All right. Well, we got more of the same. I'll let you watch the third one. It's just there's a longer set to all this. Here we've got the human body kind of being to show what happens when you're in a virtual world on the human body. And what you can manipulate, what you can see, what it allows you to see, the kind of diseases that might affect the human body and so forth. It's pretty cool too. Visualizing treatments for different patients. All right. Wow. I'll go on to the next one just for the sake of time. Here we've got the America's Cup. Virtually there, a weekly VR series that delivers amazing adventures, extreme nature, incredible sports, and the world's most fascinating what? People. Most fascinating people. Of course, Curt. Okay. Let me go back here.
America's Cup is the fastest boats in the world, best athletes in the world going head to head.
That's too short. Let's get a longer one. Okay.
When you're racing another competitor at close to 100 miles an hour, guys need to be able to think a step ahead.
Hey, hold! Hey!
It's extremely physically demanding for all the sailors on board. The front four guys are grinding through the entire 25 minutes of the race.
Sorry, boys, my bad.
It's essentially a maximum strength test all the time.
You gotta blow down anyway.
This team loves winning, loves competition, loves being pushed.
We'll spend 3 hours in the gym a day.
Okay, onward and upward. Oh, I'm not going to show the third one. I'll let you guys watch it on your own. They explain building the ship and all that kind of stuff. We get into sports. More sports, because that's sports too. Okay.
The future for the fan is remarkable. You're going to get closer to the game. It's going to be a more visceral experience.
I'd say right now we're at a point where the home experience is close to as much better than the in-game experience as it's going to get. I think with augmented reality, that gap is going to narrow, and I think the advantage is going to go back to live experience of sports.
Virtual reality puts you into a virtual world. Augmented reality puts virtual things into your world. I mean, I think in 2017, I'll be able to hold up my phone at a baseball game, not to see Pokemon out on the baseball field, but I'll be able to put it over the first baseman, and it'll show his name and his stats and what high school he went to. And I'll be able to move my camera over to the second baseman and to the pitcher, and I'll be able to see the pitch count, and I'll be able to see which pitches he does. And just like in a video game, when a kid plays video baseball and they have 4 pitches, you can see the 4 pitches that pitcher has, and you can see the probability that he's going to throw that cutter.
I think the general trend line is to make the home experience more like going to the game and make the game experience more like being at home. So the access to screens, say through augmented reality, through headsets, will be just as immersive at the game as it is at home.
The neat thing about augmented reality is that your surface area becomes kind of infinite, right? So you can have all your stats, you can take it and just push it out here and out here.
I'm going to stop it for the sake of time and keep moving and show you some more. These are, I'm showing them in order from history. So this is 2016 or 17. We're moving up to 2023. We're only a quarter way through, not even that. Oh, this is more about that same one. So I'll let you watch that on your own. Let's see what we have here. Oh, HoloLens. Okay, for surgery, live surgery. Sorry, my board is in front of the screen here, so oh, I hit the. Trying to do this. There. Okay, that one has a second part to it. I might show a little piece of it. It's got more of the doctor explaining what's going on.
I've been in pain for the last 5+ years with my back, and
so examples of doctors and surgeons having the HoloLens to plan their surgery. device has been used to get reference materials and all sorts of things as they get ready to do the surgery.
It's slowly been getting worse.
We're doing a percutaneous discectomy. Dr. Gibby goes in through a needle and removes part of the disc to alleviate his back pain.
My back pain is caused from 2 herniated discs, L3, L4, and 4, 5.
I don't do much in the way of open surgery, but even with image-guided surgery, the key is, where are you? How do you find where you're at?
Normally, a surgeon will use two-way view of an x-ray. Today, we're using a new and improved system. It's a 3D image on lens. You take a picture from an MRI or CT before, and you load it into your software, and you look on it on lens. You just put it on the surgeon's eyes, and it shows the whole 3D view through these goggle lenses.
This is very new stuff. This is the first procedure I'm aware of that has done this in the world.
What the HoloLens does is it cuts down on surgery time. It's easier on the patient, and it's a lot more accurate.
It's great to, see that anatomy sort of floating in space, see the spine, be able to look, okay, this is my trajectory, this is where I should start. In my 35 years or so in medicine, I've never seen anything as cool as this. I mean, the uniform response when people put that on and look is wow. I think we've witnessed history today. I really do. I think in the history of medicine, this is a beginning of an entirely new dimension in how we can treat people.
Onward and up. I'm going to show a couple more because we'll try and take a little break here. Oh, this is my friend, the short Sims person, Clark Aldrich. We'll get a minute of him here.
Require special goggles. They did not require supercomputers to run it. So my question was how can we distill the essence of interactivity to its essence so that we can actually deploy these things? How can we have basically a soup that eats like a meal? So again, now the big question is, what happens when organizations are given the opportunity to create Sims that can be procured and deployed as easily as traditional content? So let me show you some real examples. Given what I'll call Sims on tap, given short Sims, here's what organizations did with them. I'm going to show you a bunch of examples, I think, organized around usage. So some academics created some labs. I'll take you through this. So this is a short Sim on the demand curve is made for the Gates Foundation. Show you an example of it. Okay, the demand curve. Let's try a little experiment. Consider a food truck that's selling drinks. Well, wouldn't that be a beverage truck? Yeah, no, it wouldn't. Okay. So here it is. You have the ability to lower and raise the prices on the drinks sold. The price for a drink is currently 50 cents. Raise the price now to $1.50. Do nothing. Raise the price. Okay, I'm going to raise the price. Excellent. Price now $1. Keep going. Raise the price to $1.50. So we're going to raise the price. Boom, to $1.50. Let's throw in some customers. Boom. Okay, here's some customers. There are 5 customers. So I guess when it's $1.50 on a cloudy day, we have 5 customers. See what happens when you raise the price. So we're going to raise the price by 50 cents. Okay. All right. We lost a customer. We're going to raise the price by 50 cents again. Okay. We lost more customers. Okay. So, quantity of demand went down to 3 at $2.50. And now we're going to reduce it back to, $2.50. Okay. There. So
I'll stop that one there. Again, we probably could spend all hour on short Sims alone. I want to show a couple more before we go to my friend, Dr. Cosma.
All right, who wants to see a volcano? 3, 2, 1. Wow! Look at that lava, look at that smoke coming out of that.
Pretend you're an airplane and fly over the tornado.
That's the top of it. What do you see?
It's either asteroid, meteorite.
We're learning about DNA and genes, things that we can't see. And so the most exciting thing for me with the AR technology was that I could see kids get an aha moment that I couldn't get by just telling them about it.
Okay, one more. Okay, I think that's all. There's another one of that situation. Here's the one, the little augmented reality puppies one. A Pokemon kind of game simulation world. Okay, we got about through half of them, maybe a little more than half. So maybe after we end tonight, I might show a couple more. I think I'll stop sharing at this point. We probably have Dr. Reeves with us. I saw him pop in here somewhere. There he is. I haven't seen Dr. Cosma come yet, although I sent him the link during this. So I want to make sure. Bo, did you see Dr. Cosma?
I've not seen him join yet, no.
Okay. I did send the link to him, and so let's maybe take a short break to make sure everyone has a bathroom break, a refreshment break, and we'll wait for Bob to come in here. How was that while everyone's going away? Interesting, Bo?
Yeah, this was really cool. I don't know if I put a message in the chat window. I don't know if you guys have seen these things called merge cubes before. It's like a little Nerf cube, but it has QR codes on each of the faces, and there's a bunch of applications like on the Apple App Store where you can use it to teach different types of lessons through AR, and it's only like $12 or something like that. It's really cheap.
I'm going to write to Bob again here real quick. I sent everyone a link with an Outlook, and maybe he doesn't have Outlook, so that's maybe why he didn't get it. So one thing, I guess another option would be to show a couple more while we're waiting, and Bo, once he arrives, then to jump back in and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Do you have his phone number, Curt?
I might actually. We have talked before. Let me look for that first before we jump out. Good idea, Tom.
Ron Austin's here now too.
Yeah, Ron too. Okay, so great. Ron will be here. Okay.
Hey, Ron, I was just going to let you know that I've been sharing your school leader AI tools with as many people as possible. Oh, here's Bob.
Great. Hi, Bob. Can you hear me, Bob?
Yeah. Hi,
Okay,
Curt. Sorry,
great.
I was I was on mute.
Yeah,
Okay.
So let me introduce you. We were just watching some AR and VR videos in animated worlds in the medical field, in physics and chemistry, economics, and K-12 science projects and all sorts of things. So it was really hyped up, kind of cool. So I got everyone's attention. And so they're, on a short break. I thought I'd give them a minute, but let's invite everyone back in tonight. So this is what I might do here is, well, let's just let it go all the way through, since that was we'll leave it all. We won't stop and